Welcome to the Money Over 50 podcast, brought to you by Dallas Davison and Michael Hogue from Money Over 50 Financial Advisors. This information is general in nature and does not take into account your objectives, financial situation, or needs. Therefore, you should consider whether the information is appropriate for you and your personal circumstances. If you require personal advice, please contact Money Over 50 Financial Advisors. Here are your hosts, Dallas Davison and Michael Hogue.
Welcome to Money Over 50 with Dallas and Michael. 2 minutes of doing beats 58 minutes of talking. Dallas, we're going to try and have our first 2-minute podcast. I'll shut up now. You go.
Thanks, Michael. Now I'll probably talk really fast and be incoherent. The point I've made here is that I had a meeting with clients a couple of days ago, and it was like a lot of our meetings went for about an hour. Now, we spent the first 58 minutes talking about their goals, their plans, what they were looking to achieve over the next 5-6 years. The reason they sort of came in for the meeting was that they actually work in PNG and had just been back in town for a couple of weeks. And so we're talking about whether they'd stay there, go somewhere else. They've got contributions into super that we talked about making, as we've touched on before, with bolting it all together, maxing out before tax contributions for him, making spouse contributions and after-tax contributions for her to pick up all these different benefits. There was a lot of financial planning work involved. Then we looked at their home loan. They really want to try and get that paid off before they come back from this high-paying role. So we spent a bit of time looking at projections of how much cash how much income do they have rolling in every month from their pay. How much can they afford to actually pay off that home loan? When would that get that loan paid off by? What do they think is a feasible amount that they can make as extra repayments? All these sorts of things. So we talked about all that for about 58 minutes and got to the end of it, and I went, these are the things that you need to do, and I'd had them written down. And what I said is, well, you guys are here now. They've commented before that in PNG their internet is very hit and miss. And sometimes they've been getting in every month and making transfers off their home loan, making these transfers into super. So what I said is, right, let's jump in right now into your ANZ internet banking. They had their details handy. We logged straight in. We set up a regular monthly transfer for the day after they get paid on the 15th, transfer out on the 17th for 2 lots of super contributions plus a regular amount going off that home loan every month. Now, that was all set up and done and taken care of within about 2 minutes, and we logged out and switched off, and we're back to making small talk as we wound up the meeting. What I'm sort of posing here is that 58 minutes of talking and planning and discussing and calculating and projecting and doing all these sorts of things, that 58 minutes of that is absolutely useless without the 2 minutes of doing. And in their case, they may well have gone home and done it and set up the transfers, or they may well have done them on a monthly basis without those regular transfers. But we've now just removed all of those issues. That is going to happen. Every month they get paid. That money is going where it needs to be. They don't have to think about it. They don't have to touch it. They don't have to worry about what's happening or what they were supposed to do. Try and remember it. Try and remember to do it. Try and remember which account was supposed to go into where and all the rest of it. It's done. It's set up. They don't have to do a thing now because of that 2 minutes of doing for the next 6 months.
And we have a saying, financial planning is useless without financial doing. So marrying the two together is absolutely key and crucial. And the great thing about setting up from internet banking is you can pick those recurring points in time, whether it be fortnightly or monthly, and then you can set it up so it just happens automatically for you. Now, you can change it too if you need to.
Yep.
However, if you do nothing,
yes,
that money is going to go out and it's going to go into the right places. So, certainly marrying both together is what you require. What you're highlighting here, Dallas, is that if we look at this from a time point of view, they got so much more benefit out of the 2 minutes as opposed to the 58 minutes.
Yeah, and that's I guess where we've talked about those two things have to be married together. Is that you couldn't do the 2 minutes of doing before the 58 minutes of discussing this, working out what was important to them, how to do it, the different options available, how to pick up all the tax savings, how to make sure that we could afford to do what they were talking about doing, all those sorts of things. So it's not to say that the financial planning isn't valuable, but I guess that the takeaway from here is that if you're listening to this podcast, or if even clients of ours, we've talked about this before, there is no point having the discussion, having the thought process, doing the planning, doing any of that work if you're not going to finish it off, if you're not going to do the financial doing. And for some people, they are going to be consistent about doing that and actually making those transfers manually or that kind of thing. But what we've just found is that if we know that the financial planning is useless without the financial doing, the second part of that is then let's just make the financial doing happen automatically. I think that there's, if you're listening to this and you've thought before about, well, I should probably pay some more for my mortgage, or I should, put some money into super or whatever, separate to all the discussions and all the podcasts that we talk about and everything that we have discussed in the past about the best way and the most efficient way and the most tax effective way to do these things, just set it up so that it can't help but happen. Do the 2 minutes of doing and actually put these things in place so that it just happens automatically.
We're going to give you time to do that right now, but our average podcast goes for about 20 minutes. We're at about 5 minutes now.
We're about 3 minutes, yeah.
We're at 3 minutes by my calculations.
Yeah.
So you can take the next 16 minutes to actually do this.
And anything that you've thought before that you wanted to do or that you were going to do, or anything that you are doing on a regular basis now, and when I say regular, I'm doing air quotes, because what I tend to find is whenever someone says, I jump in and pay $500 a fortnight off our home loan on a regular basis, what they really mean is I do it when I remember it, but sometimes I forget, or sometimes things pop up, which is completely understandable. What you're saying here is take the spare 15 minutes that you've got left, jump in, change all of that to just a regular transfer, something that just happens automatically, and you can't get it wrong.
And the disclaimer here would be if you're listening to this while you're driving or operating heavy machinery or something like that, don't take the next 15 minutes to get on your internet banking and set that up.
No, that's true.
I don't want to be hauled before a court at some stage in the future and saying, well, this guy actually said to do this over the next 15 minutes. There's the disclaimer there.
I think the other disclaimer that I'd say there is, as I said, there's no point jumping in and doing before you know what you actually need to do.
Yes.
So the planning needs to come first. You need to know that you're doing things in the right way, and you need to know that what you're focusing on is the right thing. I'm talking about here, once you've done that, once you've thought about that, discussed that, worked out a plan, you really need to jump in and do the doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Financial planning is useless without financial doing.
Thank you for listening to the Money Over 50 podcast with Money Over 50 Financial Advisors. We look forward to catching up again soon.